And I'll call to order the housing meeting.
Council members Agajanian?
Present.
Authority members Agajanian?
Present.
Garpetian?
Here.
Najarian?
Here.
Sinanian?
Here.
Parazian?
Here.
Chair Devine.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, if we can have a roll call for the council.
Roll call, please.
Council members Agajanian?
Yes.
Devine?
Here.
Najarian?
Here.
Sinanian?
Here.
Mayor Garpetian.
Here. Do you have any items to report?
The
No,
agenda
this
for
is
the June 13, 2017 joint public meeting of the City Council and the Housing Authority was posted on Friday, June 9, 2017 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. The items before this joint body is the following. Director of Community Development regarding adoption of the 2017-18 Glendale Housing Authority budget and approval of a professional services agreement change order for legal services in support of affordable housing activities. 1A is a resolution of the City Council making findings outside redevelopment project areas for the 2017-18 Housing Authority budget. At B is a resolution of the Housing Authority adopting the Glendale Housing Authority budget for the 2017-18 fiscal year. At C is a motion of the Housing Authority to approve the change order to the professional services agreement with Kane Balmer Berkman in the amount of $50,000 for a new not to exceed contract of $100,000 and to extend the contract term for 2 years to end June 30th, 2019.
Okay. Is there a motion for items 1A, B, and C?
We can either do a motion, or if you'd like a very brief report on it. I mean, that's because you've seen this already at length. I'll just be very brief, talking like
5Bs?
7 slides brief.
Five
The 5Bs. Be
7
brief,
slides,
brother, be
5
brief.
Bs.
You know me too well, sir. So just very quickly, you see the sources of our affordable housing programs. While the sources have not changed, the amounts that we get indeed have. So we have federal dollars coming in that pay for the Section 8 program. You see there along the top. We'll talk about trends in just a moment. Some of the funds that were coming in through subventions from the state of California with the loss of redevelopment, the LMIHAF, that has been dropped off significantly. Indeed, all we're getting now is that share, the 20% share of the city's loan repayment that was secured by a court victory, a couple court victories. And then, of course, whatever grant funding we can get through the continuum of care for our homeless services. So all of those revenues and the budget that's before you are almost $37 million for this coming year. You see the way that they break out. By far the biggest chunk is the Housing Assistance Fund, which is the Section 8 program. And even there you're seeing some slight decrease. Our fear is that you will see that decrease grow and mirror what we're seeing in CDBG and in home as time goes on. By way of appropriations, it really mirrors where the money comes from, is where the money goes to. I will tell you that we are not at this point appropriating the full amount of funding from the continuum of care. We will see how the funding trickles in by way of first quarter as and we get into the mid-year, particularly as Measure H, which was, I believe, was approved today, the funding scheme at the Board of Supervisors, how that will impact our continuum of care programs and the funds that we get in and impact the level of service that we provide. Long story short, what we're looking at is about, again, a $37 million housing fund budget, and what the council knows from previous discussions, certainly by this authority, is that in the coming several years you will end up with about $20 million in what amounts to one-time monies, leftover bond monies, monies from the redevelopment loan, monies that will come at a reduced rate, we hope, from the home grant or the home program from the feds, and some program income from previous housing deals. That will lead to the Affordable Housing Strategic Plan, and you will be giving us clear direction about how you want to leverage those funds for the intermediate range, hoping that you'll see some increase or the reintroduction of an affordable housing program at the state level to take the place of redevelopment that was lost at the end of 2011. Things that we're seeing right now, as I've mentioned just very briefly, the Section 8 program. the dynamic that is taking place in Glendale, which is not unique to Glendale, but certainly as Glendale housing values and monthly rents increase, is that those dollars don't go nearly as far. We are working with our assemblymen, and we are lobbying, certainly I know council does, as you contact our federal representatives, to allow for a higher cap on the HUD expenditures for the Section 8 program. As those rents continue to increase, the money, as I say, doesn't go nearly as far. We also have some interesting dynamics by way of how many portable vouchers are coming into town. As Glendale becomes more expensive, I think you'll see the stemming of that tide, and more of those ports will be taken outside of the city. By way of the other funding sources, I think the last points that you see, the possible future additional one-time home revenue payments, that will be that largest chunk of that, hopefully about $20 million that we would be asking you to program by way of the Affordable Housing Strategic Plan. But that, coupled with legislative relief, the rent-to-lease program ordinance that the City Council has directed be circulated for public comment, and we are doing that this summer pursuant to direction from you, Mr. Mayor, and Madam Chair. We are putting that on the street. That will be back to you by the end of the summer for a decision point. And then continuing to work with the state to achieve an actual ongoing funding stream. You may have read today in the budget discussions in Sacramento, many of our best hopes were dashed by way of some of Mr. Bloom's bills, but we will continue trying to fight that good fight. Truly, all these roads are going to lead in some way, shape, or form to Washington and Sacramento. At this point, while Sacramento is hopefully a better, more workable solution, we just aren't seeing the degree of collaboration that we'd like to see. That being said, part of the strategic plan will be legislative relief. As I mentioned at the start, Measure H will provide some new funding for us. That'll go a long way in our continuum of care. And as you know, the City Council had ceased using CDBG monies for code enforcement, put those dollars back into the general fund, and we've been banking CDBG money to be used in selected census tracts that will help us move forward with some type of transitional housing care as we do our part to address homelessness in the region. In terms of the added item on your motions, we are asking for the change order for the retainer that we have, or the agreement we have with KBB, Kane, Balmer, Berkman. We have worked with them for quite some time. Removing them, especially as things are getting increasingly complex, and starting over with a new law firm may prove problematic. We did do a request for services. We did get some replies. At the end of the day, we feel very comfortable moving forward and recommending to you KBB for this limited contract, such as it is for the scope of the program that we have. With that, I'll stop in the interest of being brief, but certainly Mr. Zovac and Mr. Lanzafame, as well as you'll hear me say it again and again tonight, the finance team that puts these documents together, led up by our budget quarterback, Audrey Asayan, are here to answer any question that you may have.
Quarterback.
She's a little short, but she's small, but she's wiry. You do not want to meet her in a dark alley. She will cut you.
I do have two speakers' cards. What's your pleasure? Do you want to hear the speakers first, then then deliberate, or? Okay, first speaker is Yerapet Simonian.
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor?
3 minutes, yes.
Hi, my name is Serapet Simonian. I'm English, will you please speak Armenian?
Yes, go ahead.
Ես ամուսինս 8 ամիս առաջ եմ մահացել է, բայց մեզ սպասում մենակ եմ մնում, իմ տան վարձը շատ է, չեմ կարողանում վելիչ հիվանդ եմ, չեմ կարող աշխատեմ, այդ որտեվ չեմ կարողանում, շատ դժվար է սա մարս։ Խնդրում եմ օգնեք ինձ։
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker is Hilda Karabdian.
Hi, Hilda Կարավետյան։ Կներեք, որ ես անգլերեն լավ չեմ անում, որ կարողանամ բամբրեժին ես բողոք ունեի տան վարձերի համար, որ ես ու ամուսինս մատ թոշակ առնող ենք, չենք հասասնում։ Եթե կարելի է մեր բողոքին հասնեք։ Շնորհակալ կլեմ ձեզանից։
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing, public session and go to my colleagues. Any questions, any comments about this one? About the item that was, just presented. If not, is there a motion?
I just want to say it's a tight budget. Clearly, we're aware of the daunting needs of the community, as two of the speakers indicated. It's not just a matter of council will. We can't will a larger budget for affordable housing and Section 8. There are many routes that have to be taken for this to go up, mainly limited by the federal government's budget and the housing and urban development. Nevertheless, I think we're doing the best we can with the funds that we've had allocated to make it go as far as possible. So I'll move the, what's the item?
1A, B, C.
Yeah, 1A, B, and C.
Second.
Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, and was seconded by,
Ms. Devine.
is that only for the council that may be seconded, Mr. Attorney, or can it be seconded for the authority as well by Authority Chair Devine?
I think it's the Housing Authority, right? So it has to be Housing Authority.
Okay. Because there's a,
Okay, then
She seconded
I
will-
seconded it, so I
Oh, it should be
cannot.
from somebody else, yes.
Okay,
I will
someone else
second
has
it.
to second.
I will second it. Because it's the housing item.
for the Housing Authority. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm
So the
sorry,
first-
sorry. There was, apparently, there's a council item and there's two Housing
So-
Authority
so I
items.
have
So we should
here-
take them separately.
So I have here a motion for the first one, which is for the council, moved by Councilmember Najarian, seconded by Councilmember
Correct.
Devine.
Roll
Take
call,
the roll
please.
on that first. Councilmember Agajanian,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Sinanian.
Yes.
Mayor Garpetian.
Yes.
For the two Housing Authority items, I have a showing as moved by Authority Member Najarian and seconded by Authority Member Garpetian. Authority members Agajanian,
Yes.
Garpetian,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Parazian,
Yes.
Sinanian,
Yes.
Chair Devine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a housekeeping item. Are we closing these two right now and reconvene our council meeting?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, so is there a motion to close for council?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
No, you don't need roll call to adjourn.
Adjourn
Adjourn.
for housing?
Adjourn.
Second.